YouTube, welcome to the Emporium Outdoors. My name is Michael and right there is Esme. So we're on a late winter trip. I'm not going to say spring because I've been proven wrong so many times with the Canadian weather. It can turn to absolute winter at any time. Until long weekend in May, anything can basically happen. So we're out here, we have the tracks on. The conditions have changed dramatically from the last time I was out, where I was very disappointed with the tracks. This time around, completely different story. Tracks are working out amazing. There isn't that much snow on the ground, but it is boggy, it's starting to melt up, lots of water around, and the tracks are just driving through it without a problem. But with the ice cleats and the tracks, we are just sailing through it. Up hills, down hills, over logs, you name it. The tracks are doing very well, so I'm actually quite happy with them. So we are going to be camping in some military surplus shelters this weekend. Haven't decided which one to use yet, so we're going to try both and then we can decide which one maybe suits us best. Sorry, Esme's just going crazy in the snow right there. You having fun? So we do have the frame mounted now on the Argos. That's all welded and painted. I still have to make the cover and put the windshield in. We do have the light bar in, so we'll try that out a little bit later once it's dark. So the rack is working out really well. I'm actually quite pleased with it. I think it came out great. There isn't a straight piece of steel work on this thing. If you look at it in the right way, it's not quite as precise as I would have liked, but you know what, it's fine. For what I need it to do, it's far from good enough. The other thing I want to try out this weekend is one of my subscribers and friends has actually lent me a replacement for my ribs front pack, because my ribs front pack is actually getting a little bit old and some of the stitching is starting to fail, so it's showing its age. I can still repair it, it's still good for quite a bit longer, but I have worn this a lot and it's held up to everything I've actually thrown at it. But I'm going to try a different type of pack. It's something he ordered and he got 2 of them. So what I'm going to do is actually put out a cloth, empty this and see how much of my normal stuff I can get in the bag. So let's get going. So this is the Helicon Tex Numbat chest pouch. This fleece is also a Helicon Tex and I've actually really enjoyed their equipment. I own a couple of these jackets and they've worked out really great. I think mainly it's a European company, so you don't really see too much of them in North America. But so far so good. This jacket's worked out extremely well. So this is more kind of a typical kind of chest rig like the Hill People. It has a simple back yoke and 4 straps to kind of hold it on. It does have one main compartment. And has a little pop-out divider, some Velcro backing as well. Lots of pockets in the front, pockets in the very front as well, in the front of the lid, with stretchy pockets. And there's areas where you can actually lash things to the bottom and do lots of fun stuff like that. So I'm going to start by taking off what I have and kind of go through what I carry. So I have some cord, an elastic band, probably won't need that. So this is my resin container, I keep my resin. This is my Leatherman that come off. Not too worried about these shells. What do we have in this one? I have my little carving knife on this side. Some more ammunition which I won't need. My first aid kit. My bathroom tissue supplies. That's my insurance. Some sandpaper. Head torch. pen for writing stuff down. This is my titanium pot hanger, which I've yet to use. It's a magnifying lens, which is useful for two things. You can use it for starting fires, but you can also use it to kind of get splinters out of your fingers, because my eyesight's not that great. My fire lighting pouch, my metal spoon, and also my pocket bellows, so I use those to start a fire. I have my wooden spoon, my compass and whistle, my DC4 sharpener, hand sanitizer, my lip balm, some snare wire, brass wire. This is my fire steel and a small SOG multi-tool, and some thin paracord. So I think that's everything. Okay, so I'll put this at the back because this is Velcro. But that's going to work. Compass can go in this slot. Oh. Whistles and done itself. Okay, so that's my whistle. I'm going to put my chapstick just in the front here. Hand sanitizer. DC4 can go on this side, I think. A little carving knife. Hopefully you can see all that. I'll put this right at the back. I need a longer space. My spoons. It's actually a zip compartment at the front too, so I think I'm going to put my spoons in here because it's the longest compartment. So right there. My head torch. Can also go in there too. Actually, I'm going to keep my head torch out. First aid kit. Move this to here. My first aid kit down here. My insurance back there. Pen. So I don't think all this is going to fit, obviously. I'm going to probably leave this out. I'm going to leave this out too because I have this cordage. My fire steel, obviously, that's going to come. My reflector, snare wire, go at the back, go at the front. Sandpaper. Okay, I'm going to actually strip out the multi-tool. So it's getting pretty full. So that's what we look like at the moment. So there's a bit of bulk in there. Let's see if we can pick it up. So flashlight. It's going to go in the front pocket. You're going to put this in this front pocket. I'm also going to put this in the front pocket too, I think. So, there we go, got almost everything in. There's a couple of things not super important, so let's expand this out slightly. Should be enough room. So I think that's fully expanded out. So it's a little bit more bulky in the front because obviously you've got it more compacted, everything in the front there. But it doesn't feel heavy. Probably tighten it up. I've got a big jacket on, obviously. And then if I want to get to stuff, there is kind of this system where you can part open it so everything doesn't just tumble out, which it almost just did. So yeah, I think this is about the same price as well as the ribs pack. I can attach other things on the front. There's some webbing, so it looks like some laser cut type webbing. Like I say, there's some stuff here where you could actually attach more. I think even if it was much heavier, I think the strap system actually works pretty good. That's good. Let me know what you think. It's something different. Some areas here you can actually clip things on as well, but that's not terrible. It's actually pretty good. So I'll just give you some profile views. So it is pretty bulked out. I do carry a lot in this thing. I could probably pare it down, but I've carried the same things for a very long time and I'm kind of used to what's in this bag. But I think I could probably shrink it a little bit. So I'll just show you the back. And this shouldn't get in the way if you're wearing a backpack, which is typically what a chest rig's for. It shouldn't impede. But if you are a UTV or an ATV rider, this type of pack is actually very valuable, because obviously not so much with an ATV, I guess you can wear a backpack, but in a UTV where you're sitting in an automobile style position, they do kind of hit on the back, so you have to constantly take them on and off. So I've always found this style of pack to work for me. The colour I think is grey, or maybe green, not 100% sure, but I would prefer something in Flecton if possible, but that's probably not going to be a thing. So yeah, so thanks Mike for loaning the pack, and we'll be trying this over the next couple of months and do some comparison stuff and some feedback once I've got a few camping trips under my belt with it. So we've arrived at our camp spot. It's not somewhere I've camped before, so I'm not exactly sure what's around here. I can kind of see roughly what I need to see. Some nice birch here. It's all fresh, new birch. Nice new spruce behind me too. And more importantly, there's a nice dry spot. So there is a hill up this side, which is going to drain down here. There's some snow. Another hill here, so this is kind of a flat spot. So this is a bit of a flat spot between kind of two hills, if you imagine that. I have two tents with me, and I'm not sure which one I'm going to use. So everything's kind of up in the air. The time is, it's almost 4 o'clock. It's 5 to 4. So we probably have about 3 hours of light left, and we have to get all sorts of stuff organised. We did meet up with some friends, and I'll put some footage in of us kind of driving the trail. It's kind of interesting. It's made me feel lots better about my tracks. Actually brought with me actually have a Polish lavu, which I was going to set up as a tent thing. I don't think I'm going to do that. Yeah, I think it would be great, but I really want to just have a fire in front of me. I'm going to go with the German half shelter tent again, and just the cot. I'm not sure where the cot actually fits inside this, but yeah, this is from Vesteleka again. Very impressed. This is a medium size. You can tell the lavu size by the number of grommets. 1, 2 or 3 is small, medium, large. It's a medium. So I'm going to go with what I know for now, because I'm not familiar with the area, and I think if my little cot doesn't fit inside, I'll set this whole thing up and it'll just be a mess. So I'm just going to go with what I know for now, but I will be doing a comparison between the lavu and the German shelter in a future video. That's one of the things I have planned. So I'm just going to actually throw this down for Esme so she can have somewhere to sit while we get camp set up. So these are the pole kits that come with the tent. So I'm going to use both of these, and they do come with pegs as well, which are pretty huge things. Not sure if they're going to work, but we'll find out. So we went with the German half shelter because it's something simple, something that we've already used. I didn't go with the Polish Lavu. We'll do a whole different thing on that. It is a little bit tight when you do it this way. I'm gonna have to kind of do something. I don't think it's going to be a problem once we're actually in here, but just as you can see, my head just have a lot of headroom. But obviously, it's not designed to have a cot in it, so that's the trade-off. It was a pretty good day. We went out with friends. That was fun. I'm feeling so much better about the tracks. I went out before, actually in between the last video you saw and this video. I actually went out and the tracks did so much better. I think it was literally like freak snow, which was just like sand. I was just getting bogged all the time. But this time around and previously, it did really well. And today was just amazing. It's actually deceptive, I think is the word. Because we just travelled along quite happily. Then our friends came and you saw how much trouble they were in. And they were on 30-inch good tyres on a pretty powerful machine. And they were just having the worst time ever. And Esme and I were just sailing across that thing. So yeah, they're good for deep snow, but I think in this terrain, we've got lots of water, you got mixed mud, you got snow. Your average machine's going to struggle. But for us, it was just day in the park. So that made me feel much better about my decision, put it that way. And the new frame around the Argo is really cool. But I don't have a way to mount the chainsaw yet that I really like. I don't like to have the fill covers facing anywhere other than upright because they always leak. So it's always best to have them upright. There are mounts that you can hang the whole thing, but they never work. Those seals get full of sawdust eventually. And despite how much you try and clean them, they always kind of weep. And I don't want oil or gasoline or both dripping into my stuff, so I'll just keep them horizontal. Then there's never any problems. We used the wax on Esme again, the Mushers wax. She seems to like it. She doesn't lick it off or anything like that, which I thought she would. She kind of stays away from it. She's kind of curious, but she doesn't really lick it, so that's pretty good. Oh, this is my new hat. So this is the, it's actually a neck buff. So it's like 2 layers. And this is from Fosterlecker Savota, I think it is, something like that. It's merino wool. I really like it. And I'm trying this out, something different. Because when I sleep, I can just pull this down over my face and covers all my bases. Should be good. Look for a good night. So tonight we're going to have something a little bit special. This is some spruce grouse from, I think, November or December that I defrosted recently. So it's something rare for me because obviously I'm a hunter-tarian, so I don't eat meat unless I've hunted it. And I was a pretty bad hunter this year, so it's pretty rare. Fire's not the best either, so it's just a couple of breasts, that's all. Smoky. So I have my Montreal chicken spice that I'm gonna put on there. It's probably a bit late. Because these are done, I think. Double check. Yes, that's good. Here's me. You want some? Come on. Almost. It's pretty amazing. That's beautiful. Not quite sure if that's better than the salmon from the last couple of weekends ago, but oh, that's pretty special. Special because I hunted that and I saved it, and 4 months later Esme and I shared it, so it's the first meat we've had for a very long time. Well, it's pretty much time for bed. As you can see, Esme has taken over most of the bed, and we're going to have to persuade her to go into the bottom of the sleep bag pretty soon. It's been a really good day. Pretty damp. So, like, my socks are wet, knees are wet, and I'll have to kind of change out those things pretty soon. But that's kind of the spring thing. Winter's very much easier because everything it's kind of dry. If you go into a hot tent, it becomes wet. But most of the time, if you don't kind of thaw out things, you can just brush it off. But this time of year, if you kind of step in things or kneel in things, your stuff's going to get wet, and that's kind of a problem. So I've got to be a little bit careful because that will drain my heat. But Esme is very comfortable. She's under my big jacket here. And we have the fire in front of us. So we are going to climb into the old sleeping bag once more. And we look forward to it. Going to put some music on perhaps. And we'll see you in the morning. And we're going to have some of that coffee as well. Looking forward to the Black Rifle coffee. Yeah. So, we'll see you soon. Okay? Good night. So, good morning. It's about 9 o'clock, which is very, very late for us. We never sleep in this late. We must have slept very well. because I was completely zonked out, and that's pretty good. So it's bright, but it's foggy. We're going to have to get packed up pretty soon because I have to be back home. But yeah, what a great night. My head hit the pillow and I was asleep. So that was pretty good. Esme did sleep in the bottom of the sleeping bag. She's kind of climbed out. And she's exploring right now somewhere. So yeah, that was unusual. Normally I wake up early. As soon as the sun comes up, I wake up. But not today. I was completely asleep. Yeah, that's bizarre. Even at home, I wake up at like 6 o'clock. So, not sure what went on there. Anywho, we better start getting packed up, and probably going to forego the coffee and whatnot, and just get moving. Although that was a pretty uneventful weekend, we actually had a lot of fun. It was great to test out the tracks in a different environment. The track seemed to really excel in mixed conditions where there's mud, snow and water, and I was really happy with the way it turned out. And we saw in the short clip where a normal wheeled vehicle seemed to struggle somewhat, even with large tyres with good quality treads. I'm very much enjoying the German half-shelter tent, and I think that's going to be a staple of my camping equipment whether I use it or not, because it's such a versatile, useful piece of equipment. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, and until next time, take care. And as always, thank you very much for watching. If you like my videos, leave me a comment, maybe a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe.